Geeks here at EGX Res, and we are with the development team for War for the Overworld. We've got Scott and Lee, and I remembered your names. Yeah, got it right. Firstly, just tell us what you do for the company.
Sure, I'm the lead programmer.
Yep, and I'm the community manager.
Excellent. And why don't you tell us a little bit about War for the Overworld and what it's about?
Well, War for the Overworld is a dungeon management game. It's a mix between RTS and God game genres, and the best way to describe it really is like a reverse Diablo, reverse dungeon crawler. Rather than being the goodly hero invading the dungeon, you are rather the evil lord in charge of it. Your minions will dig out the dungeon for you as per your orders. You'll place down traps and cast spells. You'll attract various units to you based on the rooms that you build in your dungeon, and you'll have to feed them, give them somewhere to rest, and generally make the place a very horrid place for a hero to be.
Nice, so it's sort of the opposite of other dungeon management games then. And how does the kind of hero aspect come into it then?
Well, the heroes are your general enemies. You would expect them to enter the underworld to come and assault your dungeon, really. Often in the campaign levels, they will have their own little dungeon, which you will in turn attack and just try and push them back so that you can take control of the underground. And of course, he who controls the underground controls the world.
Become the evil master from down below, so to speak. So, Subterranean Games is quite an interesting concept, isn't it? Different to other games companies, because from what I understand it, you're not in a little tiny office somewhere, are you?
No,
Can you explain a little bit about the company?
Yeah, sure. So I guess we started from a bit of a passion project, which was War for the Overworld. So, we come from all over the world. We've got Australia, myself, we've got the UK, we've got Russia, Germany, France. We're just all over the place. So it's been quite a challenge, but it's been very interesting.
And how is that working for you, having people sort of spread out all over the world, sort of communication-wise, and getting everything ready for launch?
Yeah, sure. I guess Skype is king on this. We have to work with quite odd time zones, waking up at all hours of the night or morning, however we need to do it. I guess that's probably one of the bigger challenges, I think.
I think the ultimate result is that we've got a boss sat in Brighton with pulling his hair out at all the time zones he's got to be up for. Yeah. So it's...
Yeah, you have to kind of like a 24-hour customer service for your staff almost, don't you?
Sort of a follow the sun development strategy, I guess.
Have you ever had a chance to kind of get all together, or is there some people in the company that you still haven't met?
No, so I guess last year when we went to Eurogamer, that was the first time we'd actually all met face to face, and we'd been developing for about a year by then. So that was a very interesting experience. And I guess in the future we do plan to co-locate and maybe become a bit more located so we can work more efficiently.
I remember in March it was very well received, the game in general. I mean, I went out and got it on early access, so I've been enjoying it quite a lot. Yeah, excellent. Now you've already kind of explained how it's set apart from other dungeon management games, so to speak, with the kind of reversal with you playing the evil, and then you've got the hero coming into it. Rather than you being the hero, you're the evil dungeon keeper. When I spoke to James back in March, Dungeon Keeper had just come out, obviously, which is a free-to-play game with the premium sort of service. Do you think Dungeon Keeper coming out and maybe not getting such a good press with the way that they launched that game, has that helped you in a way?
I guess it was helpful. I think it brought that sort of genre more into the fore because of how popular that game was, at least initially. And we saw quite a rise in our community afterwards as well, yeah. So it was helpful in the end.
Excellent. And the game itself, how does it develop? So you start off with your dungeon, and you create this evil overlord, so to speak. But how can people expect the game to develop over time?
When you start off the game, you'll start off with a dungeon core, more often than not. Maybe a little bit pre-built dungeon, depending on the level you're on. After that, it's up to you to pick how you expand. Not all the underworld is diggable. Some parts of it are blocked off. Sometimes you'll run into terrain, lava, water, all sorts of various obstacles for you to overcome. And from there you just dig out, build your rooms, 5x5, 3x3, even weird shapes if you really want to. And by building your rooms you attract the units that are associated with those rooms, and then furthermore, those units will work for you in your dungeon. For example, your chunders will work in the foundry by banging the heads onto the anvils to produce defense parts, which you'll then move into traps. And generally that's the idea. You go out then and attack whoever your enemy is on that level.
Yeah, I guess each level has its own unique puzzle, I guess you're going to solve with regards to how it's made up and also what your objective is. So I guess you tailor how you build your dungeon and what creatures you keep and send out based on that sort of stuff. So it changes quite often.
Trying to get your objective to get onto the next level, so to speak. Okay, and what's the sort of launch date for the game?
February 2015.
So we're getting quite close then.
Yes, we are.
How's it going? Are we on track?
I think we are. We're sort of in the final stages of getting all the features implemented now. We're sort of sitting down and, I guess, putting them all together and making sure things are working well and are fun.
And as you've been developing this game, what's been your favourite thing so far about working with the team?
I think my favourite thing would be, I'm a huge dungeon builder guy. I love being a bit of a zookeeper. So my favourite thing has always been to go into a sandbox level and just build this massive dungeon.
Well, I have two answers. The first answer is the possession mode, which allows you to take control of a unit and view the dungeon from the unit's view. And the second answer is the Chunder unit, which is on my shirt. He's my favourite, and he should be everyone's favourite, so sadly he appears to be a bit of a Marmite creature. People either love him or hate him, and
I love him. Yeah, he's quite cool. Anybody that bangs their head on things has got to be cool at the end of the day. What about the hardest thing that you've found while you've been making it?
Well, being the lead programmer, I guess I'll go technically for a second. Multiplayer is usually always the hardest thing, and that's been a big challenge for us. But we just very recently got that completed, and we're pretty happy with how it's going right now.
I think, well, hardest thing for me, I'm not a technical developer myself, so I guess the hardest thing is keeping on top of the QA process. I do act as QA lead as well, so trying to get people to work and find bugs and then reporting those bugs to Scott's team and then hopefully getting them fixed and seeing them get bounced back as well and then going, oh no.
So are you doing all the QA in England then and then sending the information over to Australia?
Yep.
Well, we use online tools which allow us to have this workflow of it doesn't really matter where he is in the world or anything like that. It's just we report a bug, it goes off to the code team. One of the coders will pick it up. So we've got Scott in Australia, we've got one in France and one in Germany as well. So they're a bit closer to us. The QA team itself is split across several countries, so it's all voluntary at the moment.
Yeah. And how's it working for you, that system?
It's interesting. I guess I'm on my own little island, both figuratively and literally, I guess. So yeah, I've got to work with these guys. I'm usually the one that has to get up at the odd hours, I guess, to suit the rest of the team.
Nice, you're the odd one out. So you touched on the multiplayer aspect for a bit. How does the multiplayer fit into this universe?
We've spent quite a bit of time making sure it's balanced. I think in previous games, multiplayer has been a bit of an afterthought. And it hasn't quite worked out very well. So we've focused quite heavily on both making single player fun and multiplayer a balanced and somewhat competitive sort of game.
And is it a case of two players having their dungeon and having to work against each other? How does it work?
At the moment, yeah. So the first multiplayer version we've put out is just 2v2 or four players. But we are looking at sort of other options. We've sort of got a sort of skirmish style game, and we're thinking about co-op. I think co-op would be cool. So yeah, looking around.
Nice. Are you thinking of maybe going down the eSports line then with this?
No, I don't think so. I think we're going to focus on fun more than competitive.
I think it would be amazing if it was just like one of these things that just happened. We immediately have this amazing eSports scene.
You never know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're a few months off launch then. We say we're on track. We're going to do it. How can people find out about the game, and is early access still available on Steam?
Yeah, so early access has been available for about almost over a year now. So people can go onto Steam and actually not just look at the game, but also look at the reviews of other people as well.
And is it just going to be on Steam when it comes out in February? Are you looking at other platforms as well?
No, it's going to be available at retail. So it's available for PC, Mac and Linux. So it will be available on Steam, on retail via Amazon Game, and on the Humble store as well.
Excellent. And Subterranean Games, are you working on anything else, or are you not allowed to tell us?
We've got lots of ideas swimming around, I guess. I guess we're just waiting to see how well this game does. We're very keen on keeping this game going forward. We want to continue to work on it and expand on it. We're just going to see how the fans react to it.
Cool. And where can we find you on the interwebs? I should go to the community manager, I guess.
www.wftogame.com.
Lots of W's in that, yeah. What about Twitter? Are you on Twitter?
At WFTO Game.
Thank you very much for your time and good luck in February. Thank you.
Darkest greetings, Underlord. Welcome to the War for the Overworld, a dungeon management game that fuses together the RTS, RPG, and God game genres. As a malevolent Underlord, you will have the power to carve out a dungeon and fill it with over a dozen unique wounds, devious traps, and bloodthirsty minions. Command your fiendish minions to battle, and call down mighty spells and rituals upon the self-righteous heroes of the Empire. Or any Underlord foolish enough to stand between you and your total dominance of this realm. I look forward to your War for the Overworld. Until next time, Underlord.